Hello my crafty friends, it's Andrea from Prairie Sky Paper Crafts. Today we are going to be playing with graduation cards. It's June, the season is upon us, or in some cases past us, depending on where you are. So for this video, I'm going to be doing 3 different cards for all 3 levels of crafters. I'm going to be doing a beginner card, a casual card, and an advanced card. And they're all going to be different, but they are going to all use the Create with Friends stamp set or the Peaceful Moments stamp set, the Congratulations or Celebrate. So let's get started with the beginner card. I've already got Celebrate on my stamp block. I've got a piece of basic gray that's cut to 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 and a piece of basic white 4 inches by 5 1/4 inches. And for this one, we're going to be doing Pacific Point and Balmy Blue. So let's get started. I'm going to move my gray piece out of the way. I also have some basic gems that I will probably be using in some form because it's a celebratory card. It needs a little bit of bling. Okay, so I'm going to start with the darker color and ink it up. Now, if you have a Stamparatus, you can use that as well. And then just step it down. But for this one, because I'm doing something focused on beginner stampers, they might not have it. And it's totally doable with the block as well. Okay, so now I'm just going to kind of step it down. And we're going to do Celebrate all the way across. And we're going to do here. All right, and I'm just going to leave that last little bit. And I didn't grab my stamp cleaner, so I'm just going to stamp it off until there's no more ink because I do not want to get my Pacific Point over onto my Balmy Blue ink pad. All right, that's pretty clean. Make sure nothing comes off onto my hand. All right. And now I've got the Balmy Blue open, and we're just going to step it exactly in the same spots, but over a bit. And Celebrate. And then we're going to do one last one, full Celebrate right there. All right. So I like how that's looking. Now I'm just going to bring in my gems, and then I'm going to do 3 gems right in here. I might take my pick tools over in the other spot. So I'm just going to, whoops. So much easier with take your pick, but totally doable by hand as well. Move that up. I think I'll do do 3 there. And I'll do 3 of the smaller ones going down the side. Oops. Oh, come on. I love that you can just shift them over with your fingernail if you need to. Okay, and that looks fairly even. And I'm going to do a larger one just right there. All right, so we've got our Celebrate finished. Now I'm going to flip it over, grab some adhesive, which was just right here. Where did it go? Sorry, I was in the middle of creating today, and oh, there's some. I was in the middle of creating and pushed what I was working on off to the side. So I believe my glue is probably over there. Come on. It's really warm in my craft room today. Helps if you run it the right way. So my tape is not wanting to run very well. There we go. All right, so there's our tape done. And there we go. I also have my tape right against the window, which was probably not the smartest move on my part today. Okay, and there is our first card. And I'm just going to get the stuff for the second one, and we'll get started on our casual crafter card. For our casual level card, we are going to be using the Peaceful Moments stamp set with the congratulations stamp. I've got my Stampin' Seal gold foil card stock, Night of Navy, and basic white. So this is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. This one I've cut at 3 by 5 1/2. Let's just double check that. Actually, no, 2 3/4 by 5 1/2. I've used the Playful Alphabets die to cut out the numbers 200 or 2021. And then I've used the layering circles for what's going to be our ribbon. And I've also got the banner punch. So the first thing that I'm going to do is cover up. I did a paper saver, so we're going to cover this up with our Stampin' Seal. Oh, take the lid off first. All right, line it up. There we go. Okay, now we're going to create our ribbon, and to do that, we're going to adhere the navy onto the gold. And then just find the center and push it down. Okay, now for this, when I ran it through my die machine, I used the adhesive sheets, so all I need to do is pull the adhesive off. Exercise in patience for this one. All right, I'm going to take the adhesive and I'm going to center it. So the best way for me to do that is to start with one side, and then you can run a straight line as well to make sure that everything is going to line up. Actually, I'm going to start, I worked to the inside, so I'll start with the 2 and the 1, and then it'll help me with the spacing for the 2 and the 0. Oops. Make sure that's straight, make sure that's to the edge but not over. Oh, not quite. Move this guy over just a bit. And then if you wanted to step this one up just a little bit more, you could also take your card base and run it through your embossing machine, through an embossing folder as well. Now, if you do create any grad cards, I would love to see them. You can hop over to my Facebook page, Prairie Sky Paper Crafts, and post your creations over there. And don't forget to hit subscribe so you're notified every single time a brand new video gets posted over on YouTube. All right, so there's our 2021. Now I'm going to take our gold foil piece, sorry, and I'm going to use this guy to center it. Come on. Pen's not wanting to work today. There we go. And then you just line it up with these, and it feeds it right through. So we're going to punch there. Oh, that's not the one I wanted. It is so warm in my craft room right now. There we go. That's the one I want. I want the little tails. So I'm going to cut this to probably about, I think I'll do 1 to 2 inches, and then I'll cut the other one at 2.5. And I like to do it after I have done the punch, just so that it's the size that I actually want it to be. Okay, I'm going to feed it through again. Make sure it's centered and lined up. Give it a press. And then this one I'm going to line up at 2. Okay. So this guy's finished. I'm just going to put my tails behind. Set that there. I'm going to do this one. I kind of like it over a little bit onto the blue. And then this one, I'm going to do it a little bit there. Okay. And then I'm just going to take our adhesive, put a little bit on each spot so that it doesn't move at all. Oops. There we go. Okay, and then we're going to put this guy kind of off a little bit both ways. And then I'm going to take my congratulations stamp, and because I've used navy on the card, I'm going to use navy for the sentiment as well. And then I'm just going to do a little congratulations message. Not quite to the bottom, sort of centered. There we go. And I think I'm going to pass on the bling for this one, just because we've already got the gold foil on it. So there is our casual level crafter. We used a couple of dies and a punch, and we're good to go. Next up, we are going to take a look at the Avid Crafter. I'm going to gather those supplies and I'll be back in a minute. We are now going on to our third card, the Avid Crafter card. I've done a couple of steps already. So I've got the gold foil sheet and shaded spruce, and I've already run it through the Tasteful Textile embossing folder. So the embossing folders have these little lines. When you put your paper in, you can line it up so that it is perfectly straight. So manipulate it, close it, and then run it through your embossing machine, and it will be perfectly straight every single time. So this piece is already done, and I've cut it to 4 by 5 1/4, and this is from the Basic Borders die set. There's 5 different ones. There's a couple that look like crown edges, a triangle, well, yeah, triangle piece, this curve, and something that looks like clouds. So I'm going to put this onto a piece of basic black, which is 5 1/2 by 4 1/4. And I've got a scrap piece of basic black that I'm going to stamp, and then we're going to heat emboss with gold. Now, Stampin' Up! Used to sell embossing buddies. They don't anymore. You can do the same thing with a dryer sheet or a sock, a baby sock filled with either cornstarch or baby powder. It's just something to stop stuff from sticking where you don't want it to stick. So I'm just going to give this a quick little rub. For this one, I'm using Night of Navy because I've already stamped my sentiment in Night of Navy, but you can also use Versamark or any ink that is slow drying. Now, after you've rubbed it with your static, anti-static, whatever, you don't want to touch the face of the card because your oil in your hands will make it stick. So I'm going to quickly close my stamp pad. Now you can just see where the letters are. So I'm going to run this through and then tap off the extra. Now these containers are just from the dollar store, and you can see by using that, there is no little mystery pieces anywhere on my card. So I'm going to close this because embossing powder has a tendency to go everywhere. And now I'm just going to heat it up with my heat tool. Then you're just going to keep working it until you can see the embossing powder starting to melt. And there it goes. And then you're just going to do it evenly all the way across. And my dog's in here with me. She's not too terribly thrilled that she's not being paid attention to. Okay. So I did make this a little bit bigger than I was going to use it because honestly, I wasn't 100% sure what this was going to do when I was finished with it. But I think now I'm going to cut it down a little bit. So I'm going to do, let's see, that's about 1/2 inch. So I'll do about another 1/2 inch, so maybe to 2 inches. We'll see what that looks like. Yeah, that looks good. And I'm going to cut a little bit off the edge too, because I really want some of the gold to show through. Okay, and then I'm just going to take my adhesive. I haven't done anything with, oops, the dimensionals today because most of these will be mailed, but you can certainly pop it up on dimensionals, and really they don't make a whole lot of difference to the overall weight or dimension of the package. Now I am going to put this sort of on an angle and just press it down and then flip it over. And I've just got a few more pieces of bling on my desk. I'm just going to add a little bit of the rhinestone just to give it a little bit more something. All right, there we go. And then I'm just going to do 3 of the small rhinestones on the bottom corner. There's 1, 2, and 3. All right, so there you go. We have 3 ideas for grad cards. Of course, you can change up the color to anything that you want or need to match your graduate. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to send me a message. Thank you so much for watching. And again, don't forget to hit subscribe down below so you're notified every single time a brand new video is uploaded. Thanks for watching, and I hope you have a great day.